So this is my blending app that I use. It is built in Google Sheets. And before I run it, I want you to see what will happen when you try to run it the first time. It will tell you, I'll show you. I'm going to click on this change button. It says authorization required. You have to hit continue. And it says what account are you using there. And it's going to ask you, are you sure you want to give access to this with this macro? And it's saying that Google has not reviewed the macro. They can't tell you whether or not I'm, doing something nefarious here. But you have to give it permission. And I will show you the script that they, are warning you that it's may or may not be safe. But I'll show that to you in a second. So this is the blending app. I have it built here in Google Sheets. So it is just a sheet. So there are columns and rows. The first row is very large. I make it as large as what fits some of my devices. And you can make the rows larger in your own copy of this. And you can make some of the columns larger if you have room. So what happens is beneath here, down here in these lower rows, I have a list of all of the consonants, initial consonants, medial vowels, and ending consonants that I want to consider, like I would put my cards down for a child to blend. But I have them listed here in these columns, and then I ask the Google Sheets to then randomize those like the cards. So everything in this column, the initial consonants gets randomized, and then everything in the medial vowels gets randomized, and everything in the ending consonants gets randomized. And then it shows the result up here. So every time I hit this, now that it's been authorized, it randomizes those graphemes and puts up a new order. So because it's random, I cannot guarantee that the words will be real or not real, or if they'll be offensive or not offensive. But I figure if I'm doing blending with a student, I can read it faster than they can, and I will just hit the button again if it comes up with something I don't like. Okay, so I do this so that they can then practice blending smoothly. So this is the CBC. All of these different sheets down here, these are the various blending portions that you can work on. So I've got CBC. Now, for the first time, I've had students this year that could not put three sounds together. They would say, d, ah, g, d, ah, g, and couldn't get it blended together smoothly. So for some students, I've had to say, okay, there's a third consonant there, but I'm not going to show it to you until you put the first two together smoothly. Sorry, let me just open this up. This should be a little bit larger here. I'm not going to show you the third one until you put these together. So when a child can say fi, and then I'll hit the open and show them the last consonant. And I'll say, okay, hold it, put it together, hold it, and when you hold that vowel, and then I'll open it up. So it's va, hold it, vas, vas, to help them to blend smoothly. So this is the CV, and then I have the open button. So this one changes the random order, and this one then opens up so we can see the third column. I have CVCC, which is what I go through next. And in these, I've also included the digraphs and trigraphs. It's still basically closed syllables. And CVCC, including the digraphs and trigraphs. Okay. I have CVCC, again, so I have the initial blends. And these also include digraphs and trigraphs. Yes. Okay. So it randomizes. I have one that's for practicing hard and soft C and G. So I only have C and G here as the list. And then I have my single vowels and then some of the more common vowel teams, and then single consonants and ending blends and digraphs, I suppose. They're in there so we can practice determining if we're going to say g or j or if we're going to say k or s. Now, for any of these, if you just want to practice one thing, you can change something right within the spaces that are here. But if you include anything in any other spaces, it will not be picked up by the randomizing macro. But within here, you can change it. So if I want to make, we're only going to practice C's, I could change that to a C, and we will only practice with C, or we might only practice with a G. Or if I say, hey, I don't want to practice with, I haven't taught my R controlleds yet, instead of these AR and OR and UR, whatever, I can put more of the A, E, I, O, and U, or whatever I want, so long as I keep it within those spaces. Okay. So I have the hard and soft G. I have C, C, V, C, C. I have my R controlled. And it only has the R controlled and just the 5 most common. I have vowel teams. And you can see the list of the vowel teams that I have here. And again, if you say, hey, I am never going to blend with an OUGH, get rid of it. Put another EE in there, put another EA, put whatever you want in there. Just stay within row 13 and row 33, or whatever it is. Stay within that boundary that I have there so it can be randomized. So for any of these, you can change what's in there on your copy to stay within the between the first and the last. Okay. I have all that has all sorts of combinations. I have silent E. So, and these are all single syllable. And I have open syllables. Okay. So we can practice blending open syllables. I will show you the macro. Now, a macro is just simply saying that every time you hit that button, the Google Slides is going to run this script or this macro. So it's going to do the same thing over and over and over again. And what it does here is it says, look at the spreadsheet, get the range A13 to A32 and randomize it. Then get B13 to 17 and randomize it. So you can see that all it's doing is selecting those ranges and randomizing it for each of the different sheets. So for the CVC, CVCC, CCVC, et cetera, et cetera. So that's all this does. There's nothing dangerous in here that I know of. I mean, I don't know how to do anything dangerous. I just figured out how to do this. And so when you allow it, that's what's going to allow the program to randomize the cards, if you will. So you have to give it permission to run. And where'd it go? Oh, sorry, back up here. And this button here, if you happen to like double click on it, it'll come up and say, oh, you've got a drawing. Just hit save and close. It's not a big deal. Just hit save and close to get rid of it. You're not going to mess anything up. If you right click on it, you could move it, and you've got 3 dots. That's where you assign the script, whatnot. If you do something like that, just click off of it, and it'll go back to the way it's supposed to be, and it'll work. Okay, so that's that. So I hope this is helpful for you in both your online or in person. I just got tired of carrying my cards around and doing my stacks. And for years, I made books. I bound books and I would turn the cards. But even that, if I'm bringing my computer to a lesson or to my class, um, it's all in here now. So I'm not carrying extra things. So anyway, that is my blending app. And again, I cannot check for profanity. So just read it faster than your students will, and just oops, run it again if it comes up with something you don't like. I hope that's helpful to you.